Hey guys, it's Greg here, and I'm here with a review of my 6-inch scale custom Warhammer figure. And this is Queen Khalida, and she's from the fantasy Warhammer universe. And you guys know I'm a big Warhammer fan. Mostly the sci-fi universe, but I really love the fantasy design, so I'm starting with a few of those, and I've actually completed a few. So I'm going to take a look at her, and she turned out to be one of my favorites, and I'm really proud of her. So she's from the Tomb King's army, and they're so like ancient Egyptian. That's really what their whole deal is right there. And then I wanted to do a female character at the time, and I looked through so much reference material of fantasy Warhammer characters. And I decided on that specific race, the Tomb Kings, and then I was like, okay, well, if they have a female like hero with a lot of detail, and I stumbled across art of her, so that's really where the inspiration came from for this project. Alright, so let's take a look at the figure herself. This was built from Hasbro Marvel Legends Elektra figure, one of the earliest use of that female body. And I made sure to fuse her torso articulation shut, that way I could get the ribcage really pronounced. And then I dremeled everything away to get that emaciated like skeleton form, and that way I could sculpt all the bandages over that and still keep like the bony protuberances kind of sticking out, so you can tell she's like mummified under there. Alright, so everything's sculpted, and then we got some classic fabric elements for her robes and cape and her skirt thing going on. Her headdress was made of styrene fitted into a slot in the head, and then I sculpted over that, and then just the rest of the face. And what I did for the head to get the skull proportionate, the revealed skull, is I dremeled away one side of the face and left where like the eye socket was and the bones, the cheekbones. And I made sure everything was in line and proportion, and then I sculpted that, and then I put the death mask on there just so everything would line up. Alright, so her mantle neck piece, these were also bits of styrene, and along the sides here, like to get that fanning out effect, I would layer strips of styrene. That way they could be separate, and it's not that they move with her shoulder articulation, but that they're away, that they're like separate enough from the shoulder joint to where she can still get a good range of motion on that. And then right here is sculpted. And the rest is really just all of the bandage work. This, I don't even know what you'd call this, like the belt decorative piece, the skull. This was sculpted over a styrene like form, and I think that pretty much covers that, and the rest was just painted. The staff was also made of a plastic rod, and I used a cobra from some other figure and made sure to wrap that around. It was a softer plastic, so I was able to wrap it around the top, and then I just painted it all gold to match, so she has her signature staff. Okay, so articulation. She's not as articulated, but usually my figures aren't. I'll usually sacrifice some joints here or there just to maintain like the integrity of the sculpted details, or like I won't want to deal with joint rub. And I usually leave them pretty static when I display them on the shelf. They just kind of stand there. So her head rotates and moves around. That's always important to me so that they can get expressive poses, at least with the head. And the shoulders go up and forward, about that much, again restricted by this going on here. Elbow joints, so she can gesture with the staff like that. There's no torso or waist swivel. I modified the hips on this body to go 90 degrees. And then they don't really go out, and there's no upper thigh swivel, so she's kind of limited with her legs. She still has the double jointed knees to an extent. And then these feet were from Marvel Legends Tigra, I think, with the toes. And then they just rotate slightly up and down. So good enough for me, and when she's on a stand, that's good. So it's all about poses that she can do when I'm photographing. Alright, so there she is, High Queen Khalida of the Tomb King's army. And this was a personal project for myself, which is why I spent so much time on it. I think a few months total. Just sculpting every square inch, putting a lot of love into it. And because it's Warhammer, and Warhammer characters demand that kind of detail and like exacting precision based on the art, and I think that's why I'm such a fan. So I'll be back with some more reviews and other videos. Thanks for checking this one out.